Well, Congresswoman, how are you?
Jeff, how are you?
Great, great. Congratulations on running.
Thank you so much. This brings us full circle, Jeff, because as you remember, the day I announced I was running for Congress over a decade ago, I called during the noon time for your radio show.
That's right, and the hotline has been a good omen for your career.
It has.
Okay, I watched your video this morning. Very well done. You say, the title of worst governor, the names of Newsom and Pritzker come to mind, but why do you think it's Hochul?
I think it's Hochul because if you look at the affordability crisis, which is the top issue no matter who you talk to or where you talk to them, New York is the epicenter of that. It's more expensive than anywhere else in the nation. And I also think Hochul is not a politically skilled governor. She's an accidental governor because, of course, she was lieutenant governor to Andrew Cuomo. The only reason she's in that position was he stepped down and she was elevated. Other more senior Democrat political elected officials have had to kind of go through their paces. Even though I disagree with their policies, they're much more seasoned. And it shows with Kathy Hochul. She's very much struggling to triangulate. She showed this with her endorsement of Mamdani, and her policies are the worst governor for the people of New York. They have hurt New Yorkers. It's gotten worse over her time as governor, and it was hard to believe 4 years ago that it could get any worse, but it has.
Well, it has gotten worse. As you well know, I've been in business 40 years, and Kathy Hochul's absolutely woke human rights division is trying to bankrupt me right now for the last 2 years. So it's hard to do business in this state.
It's not just hard, Jeff. It's literally the bottom of the entire country. We are 50th in states that are friendly to do businesses. We're the bottom of the list. We should be the top. We should be number one. And yet in New York, it's not just the taxes, which are devastating. It's not just the regulations, which make it almost impossible to do businesses. But as you say, the fact that the government has been weaponized against small business owners who are creating jobs, enough is enough. This is why people are so energized and focused on defeating Kathy Hochul, because it's really our last opportunity to save New York from going off the abyss, which we're teetering on right now.
Okay. Natural gas. New York's sitting on $1 trillion worth or something like that. We're not allowed to use it through fracking, and now you won't be allowed to put a furnace in your house, a new house, at the beginning of the year. That's crazy in upstate New York.
It's crazy. It is going to be one of the major issues next year. It's very much tied into the affordability crisis because if you look at the energy costs, we're paying more for energy costs and utility costs. You open up your national grid for folks that have Con Ed. In other parts of the state, you open up Con Ed. It has skyrocketed, and we have abundant resources right here. I have always been supportive of fracking. We have the natural resources, and you go across the border from the southern tier in New York to Pennsylvania, these towns and communities are booming. It's an economic boom, and then in New York you see the absolute hollowing out. This gas, so that's the fracking moratorium that we remember they dragged the people of New York along before they banned it after the election. That was Cuomo, and Hochul doubled down. The gas stove ban is devastating. It's really an insane policy. And Jeff, when I talk to my colleagues in Congress from other states, they actually don't believe it's a real policy because it's so out of touch with reality. And we tell them, no, this is what the law is in New York because of single-party Democrat rule that's been radicalized and taken over. That's going into effect in January 1. Now, what do I think Hochul does? You're seeing them try to lay the groundwork to delay it by a year. Why does she want to do that? Because it's an election year. She did this with congestion pricing, and of course Cuomo did this with fracking. I'm going to hold her accountable because she can't lie to voters again and jam them on the back end with this horrible, horrible law. We need a full ban, full stop.
Okay, the governor, I think yesterday, was down in Puerto Rico, which is nice this time of year, and she was accompanied by Zoran Mamdani. I think you know his name. They're quite close these days.
They are quite close. She was heckled, unbelievably withering heckles from the far left. And it was the same thing that happened at the rally in Queens when she was heckled by, supposed Democrat voters who should be supporting her. And they are going to box her in. It's a Democrat-controlled assembly, Democrat-controlled state senate, and huge political pressure on Kathy Hochul to not only raise taxes, but put a rubber stamp on Mamdani's agenda, which is devastating to New Yorkers.
Yeah. Now, you know the numbers. Out of 150 members of Assembly, 70 are from the 5 boroughs. So if you're governor, you're going to have to deal with Mr. Mamdani.
That's very important, and the governor needs to be a check on Mamdani. If you look, what's interesting electorally, Jeff, is he does not have a mandate. This is a Democrat nominee who is a socialist, and he could barely break 50%. You and I both know that New York City, typically a Democrat on the ballot gets in the 70s, because that's what the electorate is. Nearly half the people in a heavily Democrat city voted against him, and that means they don't want his policies. They're expecting Kathy Hochul to be a check. She showed that she is incapable of being a check when she endorsed him. It's very important to have a strong governor to understand the importance across the whole state and not be beholden to this socialist takeover that's existing in New York City and in the Democrat Party. And I think you're going to see lots of primaries to come. The Democrat Socialists of America, the DSA, and the Working Families Party, they are on the march, and they are already primarying incumbent Democrats, including members of Congress, state senators, and Kathy Hochul already has a primary.
Okay. If I'm not on the short list for lieutenant governor, who is?
I announced today, Jeff, I know that Republicans are going to have a strong ticket up and down the ticket, and that's not just sort of the top job, that's also at the local level. We see how important it is with some of the disappointing performances in some of the local races, and there were some bright spots, certainly, but we need a strong team effort, and you've seen over the past decade we've worked really effectively to build up the infrastructure with town-level, county-level candidates, village-level candidates, to make sure that we have strong leaders at all levels, because the rising tide lifts all boats, and ultimately it will lift the
How about Bruce Blakeman, Nassau County Executive? You need Long Island, is that?
Well, Bruce, we supported in his campaign. We work very closely with Long Island, and there's going to be, lots of discussions about who wants to run for what position. I'm running for governor. I'm proud to have over 70% of the GOP county chair votes, as well as the Conservative Party support. And we're moving full speed ahead, and I think it's going to be a very unified effort moving forward. But this is the first day I announced, Jeff. We're not, making other announcements in terms of what the rest of the ticket. We need a comptroller. That's super important.
Okay.
Word on the street is DiNapoli is going to retire, and as we have seen in the past, the comptroller, particularly in the past, Harry Wilson, if you remember, came very close in winning that race a few cycles ago, and it will be strong ticket top to bottom.
Okay, I saw Kathy Hochul the other day in Queens with Mamdani, and she was wearing all this Buffalo Bills outfit in Queens. Now, you aren't going to do something like that, are you?
No. And the funny thing about that was I was just in Buffalo, her home county, and meeting with lots of the Bills Mafia there, and it was a great stop. She immediately just started... She responds to everything we do. We have her on the run. I mean, every day they respond exactly to what I'm putting out in terms of whether it's on social media or press releases or really holding her accountable. But it shows a disconnect. It was a very awkward situation. And the Mamdani Hochul, she's closing up to Mamdani because she has not coalesced her Democrat base.
Any chance she could lose her primary next year, or is that off the table?
Look, I'll tell you, her polling, they see it too. We polled it. Of Democrats, she's not above 50%.
Because I think her lieutenant governor, on paper, is a pretty strong candidate.
Delgado, and that says a lot, that her hand-picked lieutenant governor, she is primarying her, and he knows her the best. This is who she chose as LG, and he knows that she's a failed leader. Antonio served in the House the same time I did for a number of years. He flipped the district, and I think the polls are not accurate, that he will garner more support than some people think. And so we'll see how that plays out. But she's in a very, as I said, perilous political position because of this really growing radical left.
One last question. Kathy Hochul today obviously is invoking the Trump name, trying to tie you to Donald Trump, and if you don't like Trump, you don't like you. How do you combat that?
You know what's interesting? If you look at the electorate, Jeff, Kathy Hochul got about 3.1 million. You know Trump got 3.4 million. This is going to be a turnout race. And that same ad that they're attacking me, they're also doing the job of turning out those lower propensity voters that I will need and we're going to work to turn out. And, of course, I work very effectively with the president, as I have throughout my time in Congress, with presidents of other parties. And the dirty little secret is Kathy Hochul runs down quietly to the White House, begs the president, and then trashes him publicly. That's what she doesn't want the left to know that she's petrified of, but that's the truth. We talk to the White House about it, we hear about it, and it's just, she is not an effective governor, and the president knows that, and the president knows that when she bent the knee to Mamdani, it was devastating for the state of New York, which he cares deeply about as a native New Yorker.
So when's your big rally up at Watertown? Are you going to come up here?
You bet. We will be up there. We're going to be all over the state. I'm excited to continue to crisscross. And what's interesting, Jeff, is my district now is about a third of the geography of New York State, so we're used to traveling long distances. So you just add two more, geographic sizes, and you cover the whole state. So I will be up there. Look forward to seeing so many of the original supporters going back over a decade. It's hard to believe it's been that long. And I've been very proud to serve this community. And, of course, Jefferson County I share with Claudia Tenney now. Look forward to being on the trail with her as well.
All right. We'll see you up on Pearl Street soon, I hope.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Congresswoman. You have a good day and good luck.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye.
Bye now. All right. North Country Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, who is running for governor today. Nice of her to call into the hotline. She was on 12 years ago when she became a candidate. And, I don't know what to say. I think it's top of mind news, but down the street they led with a network story on airplane flights. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, we bring you the news here and bring it right from the candidate, Elise Stefanik. Glad to have her, and thank you for listening and your patience there.